We continue with the second part of the previous video of how he was initiated into witchcraft and occult. Don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button.
To confess and to repent and turn away. And many,
Did they listen?
many could say, I have the name, the big congregation. I can't. People will run away from me. And I tell you, I'm going to expose you. But the Lord told me now, expose them will not help.
You said you told them you were going to expose them.
I'm going to expose them. But the Lord told me exposing them will not help. What will help is them to repent. But for years I feared. I knew how dangerous it was until 2016 when I shared my testimony. I had never shared my testimony until 20. What you heard, it was my first time sharing my life story.
But this is just incredible to just hear how you were so deep in the occult and how you were helping even men who were serving God, in quotes, but using demonic powers at 4, at 5. The wisdom you were dispensing to them, was it just flowing through you without you even aware of where you got it from?
I don't know where it was coming from.
So you're just giving instructions and directions, and
because at that time when I left that place, that cave, the spirit world and the natural world could be before me 24 hours. I could see them like I'm looking at you. So I could know people's past. I could know where they're coming from, and I could know what is done in secret. I could know who will be the leader, who will be the president, what will be done, who needs to, and all that. So everything was bare. I could see. In fact, it's when I got born again that the Lord cut that because it was not God. Yeah. He had to cut that. And many people, when they get born again, who have been the occult, they don't want to let go that. So they confess Jesus, but still
hold on to those powers.
Because the powers, they have their advantages and what they think advantages. So the Lord had to lead me into years of deliverance to cut off that.
Now we're gonna touch the deliverance at some point, because that's a huge thing. Because many Christians don't believe deliverance is something that you need to have as a Christian. We'll deal with that later. So at this point, you're 6, you're 7, you're 8.
So I am 6, I am 4. Now I'm doing that. When I'm 7, I am made a territorial witch.
Explain to us what that means.
In the occult, the king of darkness, it's about territories, as the church should have been. Now, each one has a territory. And in that territory, you have maybe 5,000 or 7,000 witches in a certain territory who are submitting to your powers and to your altars. So you are in charge of a territory. So I was in charge of southern Uganda and northern Tanzania. So that was a region which is called the Kagera-Katonga region. Kagera is a river. So they divide the nations by rivers or by mountains. So say from this river to this river is your territory. So I'm made in charge of that territory when I'm 7, the youngest.
7.
When I was 7.
And did you say you were in charge of 5,000 witches?
Over 7,000.
Over 7,000 witches.
Over 7,000. And I was made that as a 7 years, when I was 7 years. So, and when you are made territorial, leader in the territory, your first assignment is to destroy the one you're taking over from.
Wow.
So you have to destroy and kill all his priests and his witches, destroy everything, even him, for you to do that.
So was that like your first act of murder, so to speak?
Yes, the first assignment, because the king of darkness is about destroying. The devil came to kill, destroy, and rob. So you destroy others for you to reign. So the one who is in charge knows if another one is coming, they're coming to fight and kill. So there's that destroying. So I take over the territories and they say this. I remember they would say, this boy is wicked. Others, they had that human side of them. And so she told everyone in the school then that they feared to send me out of the school because they didn't know what will happen to the school. Now that's the early years. So these forces were in me, out of my control. I didn't do them by my will. Because remember, as a 3-year-old, we were trapped in a cave. So it's as if your will is blocked. You are taken, something has taken over your life. And I know there are people even who today, they have not recovered their will. If they were involved in the occult, in witchcraft, in abuse, in all these, they may have been trapped. That's why they need inner healing. They need deliverance. They need now someone to walk them the journey of healing. People can hear the gospel, but there must be a ministry that facilitates the healing of the soul, especially the people that were trapped. especially in childhood. Those there's what they call the sexual abuse, the ritual sexual abuse. And because when I was there, most of these businessmen, the musicians, the celebrities could come for powers. And the way to get the powers, say go and find a young child, a virgin, and rape her, sexually rape her, maybe 7. Like they're going to have a show. And say before, for that show to be successful, find a guy.
They're going to have a what?
Like a show, like a music show.
Music show, right? Okay, okay.
A concert.
A concert, yes.
And they come for power and said, for that power, you need to find girls, rape them, sexually abuse them.
And as a child, in those early years, you were giving some of these instructions to some of these celebrities.
To celebrities, to politicians, to businessmen, and all of this for spiritual powers.
And so when they do that act, they're also initiating that child. So there are people that have experienced some of these horrific acts and don't even know that they were initiated through those acts.
They don't know. They found that part of them was robbed and taken away. And some of them, like this, for example, let me give an example. A musician, a celebrity, who gathers young girls around himself to use them every time before he goes for a concert. So those girls, they have been initiated. And then they go to their friends in schools and initiate also their friends and maybe relatives, like their brothers, their sisters, and expose them to the powers of darkness.
What are fruits that we see in the life of a person that helps us to know that there's been an initiation?
Isolation, rebellion, addiction, anger.
Is normally any manifestation of actual witchcraft activities in their lives?
Yeah.
Known or unknown to them, maybe consciously or subconsciously?
Known or unknown, because some of them, they receive what they call guardians. A voice takes over their lives, and they have like a multiple personality.
Multiple personalities.
It's like another person. You see like young people who like suddenly they call themselves someone else. Say, I'm so and so. And you can discover that now another being is in charge of this person. So that is the initiation of what is being done. But we go back to the story.
Let's go back to so back to tell you're 9 years old now.
Yeah.
And you've been promoted after you did all the bad stuff you did. And so what happens after you're 9? Your mom is trying to find people to help you.
The way it takes me to help, I destroy them. And I'm wondering why. Because if I was in the same kingdom like them, why was I destroying them? And what was that which was destroying them? Was it the enemy destroying the enemy, or it was God destroying the enemy?
And you were not doing this consciously.
Not consciously. So even today I'm saying, why was that? Was the Lord involved in my life, or was something else? So when I was 12, that's when the story I said about
your mom taking you to Tanzania, somewhere in Tanzania, to a witch that was going to break the covenant, the marriage covenant that your mom believed was what's controlling you because you wanted to be a normal child. So on your way to that witch is when she told you the story of your birth.
So on my way to there, so she told me the story of how I was conceived, what happened in conception. To her, like, maybe she was trying to convince me to say, please, let's seek help. And I could see she was begging. A lot of things happened during that journey. I could stir up the ocean, then different things. Then she could beg, please don't, please don't. I tried to attack that man as a child. And the man begged. I remember he took me and said, yeah, man, I am old. I've finished my work. Don't waste your power on me. So like he begged and I did not attack him. And she told my mother, she said, woman, no witchcraft, no diviner, no witch can help this boy. If you need him to be helped, take him. That man was called Sultan. He was a Muslim. Said, take him to the church.
Wow.
And that's a witch. Tell my mother, take him to the church. No one can help him. And my mother said, no, you know what? And the man told my mother, now let me show you that no one can help him. So he built a hut, a hut, like built with mud and what, and put me in the hut and covered with grass and set it on fire. My mother was crying. My son said, no, you wait. So when the fire died, I was not in the hut, in that small house. My mother said, what happened? Then he told her, he's back home. You go home. He has returned home. not using now the ship, not using the car, and now I projected back home.
Now that's something you've already been doing before then.
Now that one I knew how to do it. I began that at the age of 5, 6. So I left the hut, traveled back home, because from the age of 6 I could do astral travels, travel from different places without using natural means. So that man tells my mom, take him to the church. So she comes home, finds me back home normal, and say, why did you do this? So she gets me and takes me to the bishop who conducted the wedding.
Oh.
Because that's the church she knew.
Wait, this is the bishop who conducted the wedding, marrying you to a 60-year-old witch, and then your mom takes you back to the same bishop.
To say, she tells that bishop, about me, what I've been doing, and he says, yes, I've been hearing about him, but I think we can help him. Now, I realized later he accepted me not to, because now she was like, put me in school, in the seminary, like join like the seminarian to be a priest. But what he wanted was to investigate these powers.
Wow, so these are bishops and men of God who have already compromised. Remember, this bishop was on the wedding where the witch was marrying this young man. And this bishop is still working in the church. So you can imagine why, as Christians, we should have discernment. Because there are people who are lying and who are wolves in sheep's clothing, pretending to be servants of God, but they are not. And this is so sad, because this woman could only think of him. And we all know that he's not a man of God.
So he puts me in this school, in a seminary, and he is interested. I remember he could call priests and bishops to just sit around me and like investigate and ask me questions, interview me about the powers, about the forces. And
wait, I'm trying to understand. When you say they took you to, so you were in seminary at 12?
At 12.
And what, were you learning the Bible? So what kind of...
I'm supposed to be like in a normal school, because early in of the seminary, you're like in a normal secondary school.
Okay, a normal secondary school, but it's called a seminary. But it's run by what? The church in Corpus. Yeah. Okay.
So I am there, and I thought I was now going to be like a student, go learn about the Bible, learn about God, and become a priest. I realize now
They were just interested in your power.
Just interested in, not even to educate me, they're interested in the powers. So most of the time I am there from the age of 12. That year I'm there, I am living in the same house with a priest.
With the priest.
And every night they come with books, with what to ask me about the spirit world. So they ask me this and that and that. And I enjoy it. I enjoy being in charge. All my life, I always enjoy like to be in charge, to control others. Like there was a deficit in me, and I'm taking them out the powers. They are writing this, they are like researchers. They are sitting around me.
And this is going on for what? Years?
For years. For a year.
So in all that time, you didn't learn anything about Jesus, about scriptures, and you were in a Christian environment, in quotes.
Yes. But I'm not learning about God. I'm learning. I'm not learning.
You're teaching them.
We are going to send you to Europe for training. And so in me, I thought, okay, but they told me they needed the consent of my father. So my father, that's the first time I'm seeing my father. He came to the school to sign the papers, sign my documentation, because I was now going to be moved from Uganda to go to Europe.
And so with Bavin, so you're 16 now.
No. I'm 13.
You're still 13. Oh, you said 4 years later.
No, 2 years.
2 years later. So, okay.
So I'm 13, and now they tell me you have a scholarship to go and study in Europe. Now, for the sake of the sensitivity of this, I may not mention
where.
Where. But
can you tell us the country?
I was in Italy.
Italy, okay.
In Italy. So I'm sent to Italy for...
At 13?
At 13.
Okay.
I'm going without my mother. I'm going alone with a group of priests. I remember the 2 priests had come from Italy. They were sent from Italy to come and investigate, interview me, and make a recommendation. So they asked me about the spirit world, about this, about powers, about systems, and they're like, "Wow, how did you know all this? You've never gone to school. You've never gone to a theology or to any university, but You know all the things about the spirit realm, about history, about what, how? So they say, oh, we need to go with you. So they carried me. Now I leave.
So the priest that came from Italy to investigate first, and then they took you with them.
I go with them, and they come, they pick me up. We go through Rwanda. They picked another girl there. I don't know why, who had also strange powers. So we fly from Rwanda to, now we go through France. We stay there for some time. And that's when I discovered that now I have been being moved from the African witchcraft, the crude witchcraft. Now I'm being initiated into the occult.
Okay, because you said that in the beginning that there's a difference between witchcraft and the occult. Can you just give us a basic definition of what's the difference?
The occult is a system. Actually, it's Satanism, the alliance of those that subscribe to Satan. Most witchcraft is about people's traditions and cultures, the things they do and what they learn. But now this one is literally the worship of
Satan
as a figure. There, in witchcraft, about the spirits and the powers. But now then it's like a system, a religion. So when I went there, I'm put in a religious house where what happened there is the worst experience I went through. Because to break my will a second time, I have to be exposed to death and sexual abuse. So I am trained in the occult, but for the 5 years from 13 to 17, 18, almost every day I am molested and sexual abused.
Okay, this part you didn't share in the 2017 testimony I heard. What?
So by men, by priests. So like they have to do that on me. I've written this in my book. Well, that's the most, because they want to pluck out every aspect of me and then use
Wait,
me.
you're saying every day?
Almost every day for
5 years.
So you during the day you are like what they call the altar boys. You are like you put on the
And this is in a religious Christian in quote environment.
So during the day you are like a trainee being trained to be a priest. So you put on the gown, you attend mass, you do all this. Now when you go back to the house, what they call the brother's house, you are molested as a boy by these men. They abuse you, they do all kind of things to break you completely.
So my question is, with all the powers you had, could you not use it against them?
Not.
You could not? How come?
Because Satan cannot destroy Satan.
But then you could use the powers to destroy other witches
Who are lower than these ones.
Oh, were these in a higher ranking?
In a higher ranking. Because now it's all about the witchcraft and what it's about now, the system, the sorcery system, which rules the world. And they say, which controls all the powers of the world. It's more not just a local witch somewhere. It's now a satanic system that controls the world.
Wow. Okay. So that went on for all these years. And by the time you're what, 17?
17, 18, towards 18.
Towards 18, 19. What happened at that point when you finished?
Actually, my finishing is during those abuses and many years, I also got a mental breakdown. And they took me to a psychiatric hospital for 6 months and then pumped drugs.
This was in Italy.
Yeah. And psychotic drugs every day in that I may be completely mad, that I never recover. It's like, well, like now they're going to use your body, but you're not in your senses. So the 6 months I'm in this hospital, like a psychiatric hospital, they are trying to access information without my will. Like they sedate you and begin to ask you questions. So they're using you to access information, but you're not but the pain you go through, because like when they put you in these drugs, like the antipsychotic drugs, they sedate you, and then also they are molesting you in that state, sexually molesting and abusing you in the hospital. And so all that we go, they are crushing your soul in order to use your soul to get information that they cannot access. So that's what happened for me all those years, the mental breakdown. So then after the 6 months in that hospital, in the mental hospital, they realized they had not broken my will completely.
So now I'm a bit confused. Why are they trying to? Because you're already giving them information, right? So what were they of the opinion you were holding some things back they wanted, or What I'm trying.
What I'm still not saying that sometime I written this in my book. Sometime they discovered that there's a part of them they could not access. It's as if God was involved and sealed a part of my life that they knew there's something I know, but they could not access it. So to do that, they had to molest me, abuse me, sedate me, drugs, put me on drugs and different things in order to break me, because there's a part they could not. They could say like, we have had different people who have been used, but this one is a bit blocked somewhere. What I'm trying to say that God, in his power, in his ability, preserved me even when I didn't know him. There's a part of me that he kept sealed, because if they had accessed that, maybe it would have been hard for me to come out.
Yeah.
So where are we?
So we're towards 17, 18. You're coming towards the end of your time in this place. Oh, yeah, you're in the hospital. They're trying to break you some more with all these drugs and all these horrible things going on.
Yeah. So I'm there. So they tried to break me and they could not. So they decided to bring me back home.
To Uganda.
To Uganda. Now in that state. So I return home and I go by like a normal child, normal young man, like for 6 months and then the two priests come back to Uganda to now
From Italy.
from Italy again to when they came to me, now they came with love. Remember the first time this man came to me, he said, I want to be your father. And that is what opened me up. Now, when he said, I want to be your father, I love you as a father, I am your father. The moment he said, I want to be your father, now I had to reveal whatever. Like I opened up all my senses. And then, because I had opened up, so he takes me back. And then that's when he's in there initiating me as a guardian master, because I have openly accepted what they want.
So it takes you back to Italy.
Now, this time willfully. Because
Okay.
remember, before I was deceived. When I was young, I was taken by my mother.
Mm-hmm.
When I was taken to Italy, I went not knowing. So they could not break my will. So they bring me back. He comes to me this time and then he says, I want to be a father. I remember Mr. Father. I want to love you. So he came with love. And for the first time, I felt accepted, loved, accepted. And now, because he said, I want to be I want to love you. I want to be this to you. I want to do this. You're a good man. So I open up to him. Now he's embracing me as a father. And I'm the baby in me is longing for a father. So when he texts me, then he says, oh, you know what? Okay, now we're not forcing you. You're going to be a guardian master.
So what does that mean in comparison to what you'd been before? Was this obviously sounds like a higher
This is a higher level, but also now you are you're not a servant. You now appear with them. Like now you've come into the ruling circle to decide. So the time you're going to make your guardian master, you return to Africa, because there are always like 5 in the entire continent. You're going to be part of this council of the guardian masters, and you're going to do our work, our system. You're not going to be in the witchcraft. You're going to be normal. You're going to go to university. You're going to have money. You're going to have an organization. You're going to work with leaders in the nation. You're going to work with them. So like, you're going to be like a representative of this system in your country, but in the region. In the region.
It says there's only about 5 in the whole of Africa.
So I'm in charge of the Great Lakes region, another in charge of the Southern Africa, another in the Western, another in Northern, another in Sub-Saharan, all these regions. So when they told me, okay, now you're not going to be a slave or a servant. Now you're one of us. You're a leader. You're a great man, and all this. So they ordained me as a guardian master of that system. And they sent me back to Uganda to go and identify 5,000 young people and recruit them. Now, the young people was to find the young people in universities. So I was to go and become a student in the university and identify bright students in medicine, in law, in education, and recruit them in Satanism from the university. So by the time they finish university, they're already recruited. So they go in the marketplace already. For example, this is a doctor, a surgeon, a lawyer, teacher.
For their agents, because they've already recruited and initiated.
But initiated, very educated, so you cannot know. Like you can't say this doctor is a witch or this lawyer is an agent of witchcraft and all this. So my work was to return to Uganda, go to the university, become a student there, identify such students, sponsor them, give them all they need, give them the best education, send them to different universities in the world, return to Uganda and take over the marketplace. So that was my work. Then another work was identify the churches, the men of God who are still not compromised, break their powers, break their marriages, break their businesses, break their churches, destroy them because they were a threat.
The specific aim was men of God.
Yes. Attack them, break their marriages, break their businesses, scatter them. There are specific ones, like this one, like this one, like this one, like especially men who were not compromised, but also I've observed that men who were committed to prayer, not preaching prayer. But most of my attacks were on prayer ministries, churches that were praying, the churches where we were calling people to fast, to repentance, to holiness. So my work was raise these young people, young girls and young boys. While you're raising them, you're training them also to break churches, to defile men of God, to go into the churches.
Sexual
immorality.
Yes.
Take them in there. So kill the fire, because as long as the fire, you've killed the fire of prayer, then we can control a territory. So I was at the university and I'm doing that, getting young people. How do I get them? Through parties, orgies, organized concerts.
Orgies.
Yeah. Organized concerts, buy them what they need, give them parties and what, drink, give them drugs. And because most of, like in my country, most people are poor. So when a child comes from a poor family, when you bring them like a car, I'm buying you a car, I'm buying you an apartment to live there, you can use them whatever you want.
You were doing all this because you were getting all the money from, I guess, your position?
Yeah, because I remember at that time, my annual budget was like between $500,000 and $600,000
a year.
a year.
You're talking about what, in the 90s?
No, yeah, that's late 90s. That's 96, 97, 98. So that's the money I was getting, because through I could get all the money, but also that could bring the money. People in government, money launderers, and all could bring money to me because that's the only way they can stay in do their trade if they submit to me. The drug, the dealers, and what they could not, because if they could be arrested by police, but the police now would be part of my system, part of my people. So for them to do all that, they had to bring money. So I had access to money, to powers, to people in authority. So I could have all the means to defile, to deceive, target the young people, especially the bright ones who are good and different. So there's this child who is good, he's bright, he's clever, but has no money. He's coming from a poor family.
So you say, money is a way to entice
I'll pay your tuition, I'll pay your money, I'll get you this, and then they get so excited. Then later, after they are trapped into the money, into the cars, and say, okay, by the way, what you've been getting comes from this one. Now you need to be initiated. And some of them could not say no. You see?
And if they said no,
some of them die or get mad because they've already been initiated without them even
by accepting the money,
by accepting the money, by accepting the sins and all the kind of immorality they get involved in.
This reminds me of the verse of Mark 8:36 that says, "What good is it for someone to gain the whole world yet forfeit their soul? What can anyone give in exchange of their soul?"
But also some of them could create scandals around them. Like if you're a lecturer and create a scandal around you that, they trap you with a girl, then they film you, and they get the scandal to the papers. And lose your job. At the lowest, you're losing your job. So we come with a solution. We can stop this. We can help you get back your job, stop the media house from publishing your story. So if you can do what you want.
So now you're, I guess, in your 20s now doing this.
Yeah.
And you're like on the campus, everyone knows your name, you're feared by everyone, you're openly a Satanist, people are scared of it.
Now I'm not hiding it. Now I'm doing Satanism and occultism publicly.
On the campus? What campus?
Makerere University.
Wow.
So I'm doing it on different campuses. I'm organizing parties, I'm organizing all these night parties and whatnot, and I'm doing it public because I had the money, I had the means that I could bring in a musician and international celebrities to come and have a concert and then pay for everything. So like I was doing public a little bit.
So this kept going on for a while, and then let's transition to the moment where things started to shift. So can you, or is there other things you want to fill in the gap?
That's what
Okay.
So while I'm doing that, I'm enjoying it, and actually I'm progressing well. Then in the year 1999, early 19, it was around April, I think, things were not working well. I felt like we are losing ground.
When you say we, you mean the grandmasters, the occultic, satanic kind of world?
You see the confusion. Now, in 1996, I was told with my people to move away from Uganda and stay away for some time.
Is this the one you told us earlier about the 70 days? This is a different one. Okay.
Now, what happened? A group of people, a man of God, Apostle John Malindi, and his team had gone into a prayer time for a longer time, maybe more than a year of prayer and fasting. And they had taken over the whole country, and we could not operate there. So I was told, please move out until we get a strategy to disarm him and put his powers low so that for you to operate. So he had raised a prayer in the nation, and that prayer had cast completely away all the altars of the kingdom of darkness.
Wow. This was in 96.
He had completely wiped out
The altars.
the altars. Completely. Because I remember I was told, please don't operate. Cease every action and stay away. So when we returned later in 1997, 98, things were not easy, but we're now their ministry. We had infiltrated their ministry, his ministry, and broken the wall around him because his strength was about the protection around him. The people, not him as a man. Now, because of the people who were praying around him,
Praying for him.
praying for him, he could ascend in the spirit and become like an authority. So
I feel that. That's so strong.
we could speak one word and you hear it echo for days. So by that time, we had to get all his tapes, listen to them,
You had to listen to his tapes.
and identify, why is this man so powerful, so strong? Well, every word he says, you feel like causes a vibration in the spirit. So like you could literally be listening to his tape, but you're like, I don't know if we shall finish it. Now we're in the occult. We are listening. We're trying to map his life. Then we are mapping his family, his background, then we realize the people around him, that every time he begins to preach, he's not the one preaching. They are the one preaching through him because he's connected in them. They've prayed so much for him. They prayed so much around him that he picks whatever is in them. And when he does,
It amplifies.
amplifies it. That's why, like, the power of agreement. So like the whole team around him, there's so much in agreement that when he stands to speak, it's as if they're all of them speaking in one voice. So, and because of that, even he prays or just say one word, it could be like a whole force and energy that goes through the entire realm. So he was in charge of the realm. Not even saying I bind, I break. No.
He didn't have to say that.
No. Actually, he didn't. All it was, sometimes he teaches. Sometimes it could be just teaching the Bible, sitting with the people.
And what you're talking about is not that he was teaching with shouting, because John Mullally is a very calm teacher, but the words are carrying so much weight in the spirit.
He could teach a Bible, like a truth. And then the people pick it. And then you could see like the whole atmosphere has been changed because of what he's just talking to the people. Like I'm having conversation with you. And as I will talk, the entire realm is charged. And now he is a principality over the nation. Him as a man, because of the network, because of the wall around him.
Now, they had been building that for a long time before they got to that place.
So, by the people that were assigned, I was not among them. The people were assigned to go, were not to attack him, but to break that wall. To identify the thing that could cause them to be offended.
Identify things that could cause people to be offended
around him.
him.
And then withdraw their protection, their prayer around him. Like now,
Wait, get people offended or stir up circumstances that cause people to be offended so that they withdraw their part in the wall.
In the wall.
And there's a break. or breach, and then you can access.
And so this man is in the center, and now the wall is breaking. People are living. People are being taken away. And I want to say this to people that are watching this, that sometimes the man of God has given you, he has the authority, but his authority depends on you who are around him, who are building. It's about the hedge around him. And if that hedge is broken and before even they reach him, he has lost his position. Because in the realm of the spirit, it's about positions. Even we have positions of intercession. As an intercessor, you gain a position in the spirit to be a territorial intercessor. But that position, to remain there, to maintain that position, there must be people around you who God has called and assigned to be gatekeepers and watchmen, to watch over your life, to see that the enemy cannot reach you.
And powerful.
Because for you, for example, you're leading, God has given you the call and the vision. But there are those that must build the walls around you. Yeah. They must surround you. And when the enemy comes, must break these walls. And that's what happened to this man of God, that the walls were broken. And when the walls were broken, what happened? So his authority.
Yeah, the influence in the nation has to drop.
He has not sinned. He's not fallen in sin. The enemy has not even attacked him personally, but his influence has been low.
So was the result of that being the words that he was teaching did not carry the same level of weight. And it wasn't that his personal prayer life had gone down, just the breach around him broken. Oh my goodness, Lord have mercy.
Because, when Jesus said, if 12 of you on earth agree, so the power is, you speak the same words, but now they don't carry the same power. Like we call them power words. Like you can say Jesus, and that happens. Another one says Jesus, and miracles happen. The same word, but from a different place. So this meant the people around you, they hope that, like, they become a wall around your consecration. You see? And they know our assignment is not to compete with a man. Our assignment is to guard him. And God has assigned us this responsibility. And I want to say this, James, that many people today, men of God, have not fulfilled their destiny, not because they sinned, but because the men and the women that God assigned around them left their place. They left their position. So strong. Yeah. And this, many we may judge a man is not doing this, but as he was doing the work, he had to have a wall around him. And the men and the women that God had brought around him, instead, they began competing to get the same platform. All they wanted and create their own platforms.
Okay, I want. This is really deep and really powerful. I want us to go back to the storyline. So this is 97 now.
96, 95, yeah.
So the influence of his voice over the nation is coming down, and now you're able to function back in Uganda. Yeah. And then what happens after that?
So when I returned to Uganda, after that, I've been functioned. I get a call. I'm summoned to go to Sorcery's Island. Sorcery Island is in the Indian Ocean there. There's a city called Victoria. I'm called that there's a conference. So I go in this conference, and all this power, these riches, these occultic leaders
from all around the world. Like how many people are you talking?
Like 1,000.
1,000
and more. So they're in this very big hotel in Victoria City, very expensive hotel. They are there for a conference. And then they tell me, one of the reasons of this conference we want is about your country. I said, why? And they say, it's in the year 1999, and we have to be in charge of all the highways. But there's a highway, the highway of the Nile, from Uganda to Egypt, through Syria to Israel. That's the highway in the book of Isaiah. That highway, that Isaiah 19 highway, we are not in charge. We have failed to take it. And the reason we failed to take it is there's a people that have blocked that highway, and they're taking over the entire, not only Uganda, but take over the nation, the world. I say, people? Say, yes. Which people? They say, the people in your country. I say, it is impossible. Every man of God in the country, I know them. The churches, I know them. Everything, I know them. They can't be. They said, yes, there's a people, you can't see them because they are hidden in a realm of light.
Oh, so that's why even you in the territory could not see.
I could not see.
You could not perceive their activity.
The activities. But now those higher in the powers could see the effect of this group. So they tell me about, they say, there's a people. I say, which people? They tell me, there's a group of women, 20 women.
20 women and one pastor.
And one pastor, a young man, a pastor, and 20 illiterate women who have taken over the territory.
Okay, now just pause a sec. For those of you listening, when I heard his testimony in 97, this is the part, including the part about John Melendi, this is the part that arrested me. So you want to listen carefully, especially those of you who are Christians, who want to grow in the spirit, want to grow in prayer. Listen carefully to what he's about to share here. This is powerful. So there were 20 women and one pastor.
So I am in this conference.
And
Sicily's. The who is who in the world is there. The important guys, the riches, and they're telling me about a group in my country which I do not know. And I could see in this conference, we had small meetings, the confusion, the terror, the fear. I never seen this. You know, when we're in the occult, you show this kind of confidence, you're in charge. But in this meeting, men and women didn't know what to do. So they're telling me there is a group, 20 women. How much money do you need? What do you need? But you have to stop them because they have only 22 days remaining and you have to break it before they come to the last day. So they tell me, you are going back to Uganda, not to attack these people, because if you attack them, you'll die. Not to fight them. If you fight them, you'll die. Find a way how you can just interfere with their covenant. Don't attack. Don't fight them. Find a way you can cause at least one of them to be out of covenant.
And so you go back and you were given some money to do this, to research.
What I'm trying, let me say this. This is very important because we may miss the point. How the spirit realm operates, especially the power of covenant. Many believers, we work together, we are in church, but we're not covenant. It doesn't matter how many hours you pray or how many you are, as long as you're not in covenant, it doesn't make any effect. If two only are in agreement, that's enough. You can be 1,000, but no covenant. And today, in the years of being in church, I've discovered people do not understand covenant living, covenant lifestyle, even the covenant with God. Many Christians are not walking a covenant life. It's like, I'm a Christian, I go to church as I feel, as I like. There's no valid covenant. And in the spirit realm, it's about the covenant. So this group, the 20 women, there were many pastors in the city, there were many in the nation, but these ones had a covenant and they were strong in that covenant. And the enemy, the devils and his agents, they attack covenant. That's why when you rise to pray, to serve the Lord, to take over the territory, the first attack will be on your marriage, to break the covenant. Because the enemy knows the only thing that gives you power is your covenant life. So it breaks your marriage, you are out of covenant with your wife, your marriage breaks, then you've lost the power. Even in church, you break covenant, you don't agree with.
So for those that are not married, that are not in a covenant relationship like marriage, covenant could be in the context of relationships, as in how you relate with your brothers and your sisters in faith.
In faith.
Yes.
And the enemy will come and break the covenant, and then you scatter. Then you go and start another church or you start another ministry.
This goes back to the whole thing of, was it 95 or 96 with John Melendi, and what was surrounding him was that covenanting, that covenant relationship was empowering his ministry. So it doesn't matter how powerful you are as a lone ranger intercessor, if there are not covenant relationships around you, it actually affects your effectiveness, or you're not going to be able to be effective.
Man is a spirit, and spirits never work in isolation. That's a principle of the spirit. No spirit works, even God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. That's a principle. So you can't be a lone intercessor and work. You must be connected to others. That's a covenant. That's why even God, when he's working with us, he came to Abraham and said, this is my covenant with you. After 20 years of work with Abraham, he returned and said, by the way, you cannot go on this. But the Lord tells Abraham, walk before me and be blameless. Yes. And this is my covenant with you. Because of the covenant, So these, I was talking about the pastor and these
women.
the women. So they have a covenant. And I'm told, when you go, how much money do you need? I say, okay. They give me the money. They needed like $500,000. And then they say, you can access around 300,000 to use in the operation of only 21 days if you needed money. And they say, but don't attack. Don't fight, because you will die or you'll be converted. I did not attack. I did not fight. But whatever I did, I end up being converted.
That was the meeting that caused you to be converted. However, you did succeed.
I'm coming.
He did succeed in breaking that church's prayer meeting, and the way he did it would blow your mind. So you need to listen to this. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah. So when I returned home, one in that meeting, we were given books, big books that had been written about each member of that group.
What?
Books about their background, their weaknesses, their history, their families, in order to read them, to not at least find out what is the pattern in their background, which we can use at least against one. So like they had investigated their families, their foundations.
You were given books of research for each person in the whole group.
The young man, the pastor, the book I was given was 500 pages about him. Generation, like 10 generations behind him. To read and say, read this and find out what are the patterns, what are the...
And generations in. See, so sometimes when we teach, we say, the Bible says the enemy runs to and fro. He also runs up and down generational lines, finding any legal ground. 500 pages.
So I had to read and see patterns in the ancestors and his life, all this and this, so that we can know, okay, if these patterns are there, legal rights that we can use against him. Are there things I can use against him or among the members? So one of the lady who was the one who could see in the spirit had an issue. So in covenant had an issue of unforgiveness. She was bitter towards her mother. And I remember when we were going to say, okay, this one will be a gate. Wow. Let's try this one. Let's not attack. Let's go and see if we can use this bitterness to break their covenant. Because this, we can trace, it has been in the generation, and her and the mother are not okay. So that she's bitter towards the mother. And by the way, the mother was dead by that time, but the mother died when this intercessor, who is a seer, remained wounded. So the woundedness and the bitterness, after investigating, we realized, okay, I think let's try. So I returned to Uganda. I called my trusted girls. I had girls I used to work with. I said, we have this assignment. If we win this, all of us are going to be elevated worldwide. We're going to take titles. We're going to become like grandmasters if we win. But if we fail, for me, if you fail, the sacrifice we'll take from you will be your mother. So they say, either you lose your mother or you win this battle. Because I had that attachment, though my mother, so they said, okay, your mother. And each one of them had to offer a relative, whether a father, a brother, someone that if you fail, that one will die.
You were sent back. So you're saying each of the people in the team you gathered had to offer a relative as well?
Yes. So that's so I return, I sit with them and we get a strategy. After I'm reading them, say, okay, we're going to try. 2 of you will try to go and join, not attack, and join. If they allow you to join, they have broken the covenant.
And this is the other thing, was part of their covenant that no one would join them?
No one joined them. They said, we have agreed, the 20 of us and our pastor, to fast and pray these 6 hours every day for 90 days. That was the covenant. So my assignment, I said, okay, when I return, I talked to them. For me, I was to go somewhere under the sky and sit there and enchant day and night for all the days of the 21 where they are on not mission. So I was not going to see any human being or eat or be under a roof, but sit under an open sky and keep enchanting and chanting and speaking curses and curses.
Curses over each member of the group.
Yes, but not mentioning their name, but just sending them. You never know, the one may land, because a curse without cause does not alight. So just send thousands. That was my assignment. Now, one of the guys had to go and try to join. So you go. If they allow you to join, now we know we can break the covenant. So we bought her a new car, give her some money to go and join the church. So he comes to the church, the first day he comes, then the lady who is offended by the seer comes to tell the pastor, wait, I sense that person coming is not right of God. Then this girl tells her, but why are you chasing me away? But by the way, you talk like you're mad.
Ooh. She's just poked at that wound. Oh my goodness, Lord.
And the moment said that,
She just went into the flesh.
anger, don't talk like you a witch.
The curses landed.
And then
Oh my God.
all of them now are under that curse. So she exposed all the team.
So wait. Just need to breathe for a moment. Because I don't know about you watching, but there's times I've responded in the flesh. Because the flesh is the open door for the enemy to shut down things of the spirit. My goodness.